just looked back on the footage, and from the beginning of this video it's really bright, and by the end of this video it's really dark. I do apologise. Working with natural lighting, I don't know what I'm going to do about it. Next video it should be fixed. Thank you. Hey, it's Claudia, welcome back to my channel, welcome to my channel if you're new here. So today in this video I'm going to get very real with you guys. My videos on my channel have always been very uplifting and exciting and fun to watch, but this one's quite personal and kind of story time, also helping you guys, because behind the scenes of YouTube, probably like for about 4 years I've been going through something that has been horrible, and I've never spoken about it online, but I think I definitely turned to YouTube when it got very extreme and I didn't think I could deal with it anymore. And I hope that my experience, now I'm out the other side, would help a lot of you if you're going through the same or similar things. You've seen the title. This is all about extreme migraines. Now, I have spoken to many people that have gone through this and had migraines, and then those who have not had migraines. There is going to be a lot of you watching this video now who have never experienced a migraine. You may think you have, but you will know if you've experienced a migraine. And then they just say, oh, you're being dramatic, it's just a big headache. It's really not, and I explain it like torture. So obviously there's a lot of things out there that are a lot worse than migraines. I'm not saying that this is like the be-all end-all. Obviously people are going through much bigger things, but this is it's a small struggle that can affect an entire day at a time, for weeks or months or years. I think I've got a lot of advice and tips and tricks I found along these like 4 or 5 years that I definitely think it would help somebody else. Now bear with me with the lighting today. I've been told, and I have noticed myself, that all my videos lately I've been using artificial lighting and they've been way too bright. And so I'm trying the natural lighting again. I've got no artificial lighting today, so if it doesn't look great then blame that, but bear with me for the next few videos as I actually try and figure out what's best for my channel, because 2019 is all about improving on this channel. So I definitely know when my migraines started. I don't think this is the reason they started, but I definitely know the very first time I ever experienced something like this. And this was on a flight to Florida, America. We were doing 2 flights, so the first flight was like 16 something hours and then the second flight was like 2 hours. And on the 16-hour flight, I was all excited before. I love flying on airplanes. The moment I got on the airplane and we went in the air, I think the altitude, I don't know, I'm not very good with altitude changes. I just instantly got a huge migraine. I couldn't think straight. In the middle row on the end seat, I was laying out with my head hanging and I could not move, and I was being sick in the toilets. Everywhere was in pain, like every bone in my body I could feel, mostly up my face area. I couldn't open my eyes, they were burning, it felt like there was weights on them. I couldn't eat. They came over with a hot cloth and I put that over my eyes, and actually that was the best thing they could have done. The moment I got off that plane, straight into the airport, I was like nothing had ever happened. I was walking around, I was talking, I was looking, like it was brilliant, and I don't understand where the change happened. So then we waited a few hours for our 2-hour flight, and the moment I got on the 2-hour flight, instantly back to the headache, until afterwards I was completely fine again. So I think that was blaming the altitude and not migraines, but that was the first time I had ever actually experienced something like a migraine, and it was very weird. What a migraine is, in my experience, a migraine is something you feel in your whole body but mostly your head. So a migraine for me is over the eyes. I don't have it visually, I don't see black spots, but I know people that have had that. I don't have that, I just have all the feeling of it. So it's over my eyes, I can feel it like a weight, and you don't want to keep your eyes open. Literally they're so in pain from being open, you want to shut them, but even when they're shut they're in pain, but it's better than being open, you know, like it's pain either way, but you just want them shut. I feel it in my eyebrow bone, I then feel it up here in my face, and you feel it in your bones in your face, like basically your skull. I feel it on there, which is really weird, like my cheekbones here, I feel it on my jaw here, and then I always feel it in my nose and my gums, and then definitely my ears. I always feel it in my ears for some reason, but you can't touch and the pain physically. It's basically inside your face and it's really weird. Basically, I get them in the morning and I woke up and instantly knew I'm getting a migraine today. There is nothing I can do about it. There's literally nothing you can do. I've had energy drinks before, I've had a lot of water, I've just done everything I can to try and prevent it, but they come and they come very slowly throughout the day, and then you have to go to bed. You literally, the amount of times I've come home from school because I could not physically carry on in school. So then you go to bed, you have to have all darkness, complete darkness. You basically cannot sleep. Like, you shut your eyes but you do not ever fall asleep. There are the few chances that you may fall asleep, but no, you can't fall asleep with a migraine, and it's awful because you just lay there feeling it. But it's better than being awake and feeling it, if you know what I mean. It's really hard to describe. I then also would get shaky in my hands and my legs would start jiggling. Very, very subtly. No one could tell my legs were jiggling, but they could definitely see my hands shaking. And if you stay awake for too long and you don't go to bed, what I find is I start walking and my legs start to give way. I don't physically fall. I do have the willpower to stay stood up, but I can't stand up anymore. I need to sit down, I need to lay down. My body, it feels like your body is starting to shut down before you're ready to. When you fall asleep, your body relaxes. It's kind of doing that. Your body's doing that while you're not ready to relax and you're still at school or work or whatever. So it's a very weird experience. Like, your body's shutting down but your head and your conscience isn't shutting down. It's very weird. And sometimes the migraine, I found, would go away in the evenings. It would be there all day, but then I found around 9 o'clock in the evening, it would go, and I'd be wide awake for hours. I would not be in the slightest bit tired. I think it's just the adrenaline, it just bursts in you. It's really weird. But then sometimes you don't get that and it lasts all night. When the migraines started happening, I went to bed and I just waited it out, and it was awful. Through the years, as this continued, I started getting it more frequently. I'd get it every other day, so I'd get a day of being fine, a day of having a migraine, day of being fine, day of having a migraine, and I'd get that every single week, day in, day out, so roughly 3 or 4 times a week. It was also awful because I could predict them. I'd be like, oh, I'm fine today, tomorrow I'm having a migraine. Don't plan anything for tomorrow. What's gonna take out my day tomorrow? And it was awful because I also couldn't make plans with my friends. Like, they'd be like, oh, on the 21st you want to go town. Well, I don't know, because on the 21st, I don't know, I might have a migraine that day and I might not be able to come. And a lot of times I've cancelled on dates before because I just could not go, and it's awful. And people think you're making excuses and they're like, oh, it's just a headache. It's not. And that's why I hate when people say to me, oh, I couldn't come to school because I had a migraine, I'll be like, completely understand. Whereas other people, I hear them slagging them off and they'll be like, oh, they had a migraine. Like, come on, they're tired. Like, no. And no one understands it unless you've been through it, and it's very, very difficult to explain. Yeah, but as these progressed, I started getting more and more symptoms, I guess, and the migraine started getting worse. Okay, sorry, I just had to adjust the lighting. Again, I'm working with natural lighting, so it's going to get a bit bright at some points and I'm not going to notice. So the scariest moment that I've ever experienced was, I think it was like my brother's birthday or someone's birthday, maybe my granddad's, I can't remember, and we were all meant to be going out for a meal at a restaurant. But I was in bed with a migraine and I just could not move, and there was nowhere I was going to go, so I think my dad stayed behind and everyone went out to a restaurant. And before they all went out, my grandparents came over here to take my mum and my brother out. Obviously I'm awake upstairs, laying in bed, but I'm conscious, I can hear everything, I'm listening to a conversation. My grandma comes up when I'm laying in bed facing this wall with my mask on. I sleep with an eye mask, and my grandma comes in and she stood at my bed here looking at me, and I felt so embarrassed first of all that she sees me like this. Like, no one but my parents and my brother had seen me like this, and I just didn't like the state I was in, you know. So I was facing the wall, I was talking to her with this voice, everything. My voice is completely normal, you wouldn't expect anything, but obviously I was in a lot of pain. And she's talking to me, she was like, face me. And I start crying my eyes out. I'm like, Grandma, I can't face you. She was like, why? And I said, no, I physically cannot. I was telling my arms, lift, take off the mask and turn around to face your grandma, but I could not do it. That was the first time I ever experienced that. My body was so weak at that point that it was a bit like sleep paralysis, in the sense that nothing was holding me down. It wasn't like that, but in the sense that I physically could not move. I was restricted, and I just felt like no matter how much I tell my body to move like normal, it don't move. And it was very scary. My mum came in and she was like, why aren't you turning? And I was like, I can't. Every time I had this state where I had a migraine, I would go to my mum after and I'd cry and I said, I don't want this anymore. And this is going to be for the rest of my life and I don't think I can live with this. To clarify, I'm not suicidal. So I wasn't thinking about taking my life, but I was it was awful. It was horrid. Then it progressed, got worse, and I started being sick every time I had it, which I'd never been physically sick before, so that was awful because all I wanted to be was in bed. You wouldn't expect that from a migraine. Everyone thinks, oh, it's just a headache. It's not. So one thing that really does help when you have a migraine, it does not take the migraine away, it does not, but it's a bit of relief and it makes you feel a bit more relaxed. Because when you have a migraine, I tend to know that your heart goes really fast. It's rushing, it's going at 15 miles an hour. I think your body is telling yourself, trying to get this adrenaline through your body, but it's not working. So when I lay in bed, my mum often brings me a cold flannel, so a flannel soaked in cold water, and you just lay there with it over your eyes, and it relaxes your eyeballs, because obviously when there's nothing on your eyes, even though they're shut, your eyes are looking around, and it slows down your heart rate, it stops your shaking, it relaxes you. And then I often found I fell asleep with it on, which obviously you don't fall asleep with migraines. You can be up at till 4, 5 a.m. not having any sleep, but been in bed for 12 hours. So obviously we had been to the doctors before, but they obviously didn't do anything about it. So why nothing happened with my migraines and I didn't have any cures for years was because I first went when they were happening and they got quite bad, and I went for a blood test. And they took my blood test and they told me that I was low in iron and lacking vitamins D. They told me go get some vitamins and get some iron supplements. So I tried all different iron supplements. I tried the tablets, I tried the drinking liquid, all sorts, and then I had vitamins every day. Nothing was working. It did work, I guess, for I think the iron worked for a month. And then that month I got a blood test and they told me, okay, you're all good, you're fine, you can stop having them now. And so, but I was thinking, yeah, but I took one this morning, so it's still in my bloodstream, so obviously I'm going to be fine. But the moment I stop, what's going to happen? I did stop and it came back, and so I carried on, but eventually it just was not working. I was still getting migraines. We just left that for about a year, I'd like to say. Yeah, a year or a bit actually. We went to the doctors and we got another blood test and we were like, something's up. Obviously it's not iron. And she was like, what did you say you were deprived of? And I was like, iron and vitamin D. And she was like, no, you're not. I was like, well, maybe I'm not anymore. And she was like, no, you've never been. She said, I'm looking at the records, and she showed us a screen of my past blood tests, the ones I took, and she said, everything's perfect, even your iron. I don't know why they told you that vitamin D and iron is bad, because you've never been bad at that. In fact, your blood tests have always come back, fine. Everything fine, everything normal, everything average. So I was really annoyed. I waited a year and she said it must have been a mistake, they must have been reading someone else's by accident or something, we don't know. But she said, your blood is fine, and I was like, right, okay, so what is up? I explained every symptom to her. She took me to another doctor who wasn't in charge of blood tests, and they gave me these tablets where every time you get a migraine, you know you're getting one in the morning, you take a tablet and the migraine should go within 2 hours. And if it doesn't, within 2 hours, take another tablet, and you can only have 2 a day. To the best of my ability to explain this, don't come at me for this, but it attacks your stomach acid. Because they said it's something in your stomach that is affecting the part in your brain that's giving you migraines. It's very weird. I'm not good at chemistry or biology or whatever, but she said it goes straight to your stomach and works with the acid, and that's what stops a migraine. And sure enough, every time I had a migraine, it went away within the first tablet. I didn't even have to take another one. Within 2 hours, my migraine was gone and I was back to normal. And I was joyous. I felt like crying with relief. It was insane. When you've been going through something like that and you just know, oh, I'm going to get a migraine today, my day's wiped out. To know that you're in control and you don't have to be in bed the rest of the day and suddenly you're back to normal is It's crazy. So then we went to them and we were like, this is a miracle. This is insane. So she prescribed me with daily tablets. She gave me the ones for attacks. So every time I had a migraine attack, I would take those. But she also gave me daily ones. So I take both of them now. So I take daily ones every morning, and it should prevent you from having a migraine that whole day. But in the event that it doesn't prevent the whole day, you have the migraine attack in case you do get an attack with it. Now I do get, on the odd occasions, migraine attacks, but I will take the attack tablets, and sometimes, because it takes 2 hours to go and it's getting really bad, the migraine, I'll go to bed for like an hour and a half or something. I'll just lay in bed and I do fall asleep, and the moment I wake up, it's gone, and then I'm back to normal. So I'll be like to my mum, right, I've got a migraine now, I'm just going to take this tablet, pop to bed, I'll be gone like an hour, and then I'll come out and we can go to town or whatever. And it's it's just insane to have that control. Like, your day isn't wiped out anymore, and I can make plans now. It makes you light sensitive as well, I forgot to mention this earlier, and noise sensitive. So any room we go into, lights need to be off. Your screen, you can't look at it, and it needs to be turned down. Even someone across the room, if they have the screen too bright, I tell them to turn their screen down because I can't focus. Comment down below if you get migraines and what you do. Any tips you have for anybody else. I'd love to hear your tips actually, because I do still get days where I go to bed because I don't want to take tablets all the time. All the tablets don't work. Thank you guys so much for watching. And again, I'm not doing this as a pity party. I am fine now. That's why I've never spoken about it before. I'm only talking about it now because I'm out the other side pretty much. All my social media links are in the description box below if you ever need to talk to me or you just want to follow me along. And if you've got any questions, comment them down below. I can do videos in the future answering your questions, and subscribe if you have not subscribed already and join part of our family. I love you guys so very much. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!